3, 2, 1. What is up, Salt Lake City homeowners? My name is Ashley Davis. I'm the owner of Rose Park Remodeling, a professional home repair and remodeling contractor here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Today I'm here to talk to you guys about a very common problem that I see in homes in the Rose Park neighborhood of Salt Lake, which is that the electrical outlets will be really worn out and old. If you need any assistance, I'm going to put the phone number on the screen and in the description box below. You can give me a call or even shoot me a text, and I'm happy to help. However, if you want to try to do it yourself, I'm going to walk you through the simple home repair right now. Most of the homes in the Rose Park neighborhood of Salt Lake were built after World War II in the 1950s and 60s. And many of them, if they haven't been remodeled, have the original electrical and many of the original electrical receptacles. Some of the problems with that are oftentimes they don't have a ground post, that limits the amount of devices that you could plug in. And then the most prevalent thing that happens is that it's so old, the receptacle is so old, that anything you plug into it just falls right out. You just plug it in, falls out, plug it in, falls out. It can be very frustrating for homeowners. It can make simple tasks like trying to run a vacuum, because every time you tug on the vacuum cord, even just a little bit, basically every time the cord moves, it'll just fall out of the wall. You gotta walk across the room, plug it back in, and start over. It can be super frustrating. So in order to replace it, I'm gonna walk you through this pretty basic and straightforward repair right now. Let's get started. All right, so here we have the kind of receptacle that I'm talking about. So this one, you can tell is super old. It's been painted over. It's just ugly, it's worn out, and anything that you plug in here, because it's old and worn out, you plug something in, it just falls out, plug it in, it falls out, and like I'm saying, that's really, really frustrating for anybody that's trying to use this outlet. What I'm gonna do here is simply replace this old, probably original to the house. You see, modern receptacles have this ground post right here for safety purposes, and back in the day they didn't have that technology, so you can tell it's old. It doesn't even have the ground post here. What we're going to do is simply turn off the electrical to this outlet, replace this quickly and easily, and then we're going to have a brand new outlet which works and doesn't drop cords out of it. All right, let's go turn that off. All right, so here we are back at the outlet. I'm going to use a multimeter to ensure that the electricity is totally cut off to this outlet, but you could also use something like this, like a voltage tester. If you don't have a multimeter, I don't know. I always use a multimeter. I know for sure it's off. I just trust it better than I trust the voltage tester, although, use what you have. So if the power is onto this outlet, I'll be reading 120 volts on the multimeter, and if it's off, it should say pretty close to 0. It won't be exactly 0. You use your red lead into the shorter side of the outlet, and your black lead into the longer side. I always remember, because hot is a shorter word than neutral, the shorter part of your electrical outlet is the hot wire, the wire that carries current, and then the longer one, the taller one, is the neutral that returns power back to your panel. So black in the longer side, red in the shorter side, and you can see my meter is reading 100 and, it's gonna be backwards. Sorry guys, it's gonna be backwards. So my meter is reading 119 volts. So that means that the power is not off, and that is good. So this is a good thing that I'm using this meter and checking and making sure. If you've never been electrocuted before, I'm just gonna tell you, it hurts. It doesn't feel good, it's dangerous. You could hurt yourself. You could damage any tools that you're working with. You're scared the shit out of whoever else is in the room. So make sure, take extra precautions that everything is turned off before you work on it. That's what I'll tell you. I'm gonna go back to the panel and hit another breaker and make sure that the power is off to this. So I'm glad that you guys are seeing that this is really how it works. If I would have gone in here with my tools, ripping this apart, and touched a live electrical circuit with my bare hands, that would not be good. I'll be right back. I'm gonna turn the power off and come back. All right, so now I got the power turned off, and I'll show you guys. Plug my multimeter in there, and 0. So you should be reading 0 or pretty close to it in a multimeter. So now I'm completely confident that this is turned off, and I feel good about it, so now I'm gonna tear into it. All right, so here at the outlet, like I mentioned before, it's painted on. So I'm gonna take a utility knife and score around that and try to get it off. All right, and we got it out of there. So you're gonna take a flathead screwdriver now and pull it out. Once again, I can't say enough. I'm sure that this outlet is off. I tested it with the multimeter. Nothing's going on here. Before you do this in your house, make sure that it's off. That's all I can say. And it comes free like that. All right, so we got that off. You may notice that we have a little bit of a issue here, but I'm prepared for it. So on the old original wiring to this home, like I mentioned before, the outlets receptacles didn't have ground posts. But it's easy to actually install one of these with the ground post. All you need is a piece of bare wire, bare copper wire. All you need is a piece of bare copper wire. So all I'm gonna do is take the bare copper wire and install it on the green ground post there. It's kind of bright in here. I'm gonna install this bare copper wire on this green ground post and then drive a screw through the bare wire into the metal box. I'm gonna fashion a loop like this, like a little hook in the bare copper wire. I'm gonna install it on the ground post like so. Then I pinch it down. And with my screwdriver, you can use a flathead or a Phillips. I just screw it back in. This bare wire, once I attach it to the metal outlet box here, will be grounded to the house. So it'll be just as good as if there was a ground coming out of this wire here. So that's what we do when we are in these older homes where they don't have ground wires installed at the receptacle outlets. All right, so now I'm gonna make up this outlet really quick. I'll speed this up because it's boring. But basically I'm gonna use the black wire and install the black wire on the brass screw here on my new receptacle. And this white wire, I'm gonna install that on this not as shiny or kind of silver colored screw. It should be the black wire to the hot and the white wire to the neutral on the longer side. Remember what we talked about earlier? All right, so I'm gonna speed this part up real quick. You guys don't care about this. All right, and now I'm gonna show you what I meant. So I've taken this bare wire off of the ground plug on the receptacle and wired it in here and attached it to the metal receptacle box. And so now this outlet is grounded just like it would be in a modern outlet, and I'm ready to put this all back into the wall. All right, so now my receptacle is reassembled. Looks nice and pretty, nice and clean. Way better upgrade from this old, nasty, dirty one that didn't even have a ground plug. And this one I know won't drop cords out and be really frustrating. Before I put the new cover on, I'm gonna turn the power back on and then test it again with my multimeter to make sure that everything is powered up correctly before I finish the job. Back at the panel, I'll be right back. All right, so now I have the circuit breaker turned back on and power is applied to the outlet, but I'm gonna check and make sure that I have 120 volts using my multimeter, which is right here. So I take my leads, boom, and boom. And this might be backwards to you guys, but I'm reading 121 volts. So maybe it looks like it's gonna be backward, but just trust me. I got 120 volts to this outlet, so I know it's good. Take my leads out, and now I'm going to put this nice new cover. So I put this on here, flathead screwdriver. All right, now I have a perfectly functional, updated electrical outlet. Let's just plug like the vacuum cleaner or something in just to make sure that it works. All right, so now it's the moment of truth, and we're gonna see if my outlet works and if the vacuum will run to clean up the mess that we made when we installed the new outlet. So cross your fingers. But really we don't have to because we use a multimeter and I'm a licensed electrician, so I know that it's good, but let's just see. All right, so now it's the moment of truth with my vacuum cleaner right here. So what do you guys think? When I push this button, it's either gonna come on if it's wired correctly or it's not. So let's see. We did it. All right, so now I'm gonna vacuum up this mess that I have right here, and we have ourselves a perfectly functional, replaced, brand new outlet. All right, guys, so this was really fun. Thanks for joining me. I hope that now you understand the process of changing out your old, worn out electrical receptacles. And if you need any help, go ahead and call me at Rose Park Remodeling. I'm gonna put the number on the screen and then also put the number in the description box below. You can shoot me a text or call me if you need any help with home repair projects on your Salt Lake City house. Thanks for watching my video, guys. Give it a thumbs up if you learned anything from this, and subscribe to the channel to see more DIY projects like this. Thanks a lot. Peace.